Melissa. We've got topics listed up on the screen, but as always, the rules are ask a psychiatrist anything. So it's no hold bars, any questions you want. I think we were going to start today with a general discussion about social anxiety because it's something that so many people have experienced. So do we want to start with social anxiety, Dr. Dom?
Absolutely. We can chat about, if we just go back, we've been talking a lot about anxiety, and it's got both the mental side of it, the story that you've got going on in your mind, and the physical side of it.
Thank you so much for being here. We love you.
Thank you. And the physical side of it, which is where the part of your brain that's there to kind of protect us in survival situations sets off the fight and flight reaction in your body. And what we see at the moment, social anxiety, you're wanting to divide out, is it a disorder or is it an anxiety in general at the moment? It's always having a look at what's going on, how much of it's internal related to the stories you're creating or the way that you're looking at things, but how much is external, where there are very real issues.
How would you define social anxiety?
It's anxiety that is occurring where the main driver relating to other humans.
Relating to other humans. So you're anxious about relating to other humans. Jason.
So that's going to bring in all the kind of fears that, are just getting stronger and stronger at the moment, where, the fears of rejection, the fears of being judged, the fears of making mistakes and consequences of that. But at the moment, it's also bringing in that
absolutely, Chris.
Look, people are
Jane.
So our social relationships rely on predictability in people's behaviour, and there's no doubt in my mind that we are seeing a very big shift in predictability in people's behaviour. Where we're seeing that kind of spiral, where a lot of people are dealing with their own, whether it's stress, whether it's mental health, whether it's what's going on, where they're not as available socially. But then if you're reaching out to that person, it can be very easy to, is it me or is it them? Is it that they're not actually socially available at the moment, or is it feeding into one of the stories that come up for you about?
So if you're socially anxious, what do you think are the most likely consequences? You're avoiding parties, you're avoiding social situations, you're going out to get a coffee.
Avoiding is one, it's comfortable. So one of the things when we talk about anxiety is uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable sensation.
I hate it.
I talk about kind of like it gets, when you're talking about panic, that is seriously one of the more uncomfortable experiences you can have. But if we just keep thinking about it as being uncomfortable, then what is avoidance? Avoidance is comfortable. It's avoiding that discomfort, but it also has really clear consequences that the more you avoid, the harder it gets to expose.
I hate that because if I love one thing, it's avoiding something I find uncomfortable. They say that I see it as a fear of rejection. Absolutely. Yes. I think a lot of people feel that way.
And we want to really honour those feelings because we are social beings. Humans have got a big part of our mind. Our minds are both internal, what we experience in our own internal thinking and feelings and imagination, but we're also, a big part of our mind we can only access relationally when we're relating to another human.
That is so fascinating. Yeah. A big part of our brain is only active when we're with other people. I have heard, and I'm sure you can debunk this, the statistic that if you don't have any friends or if you don't socialize, it's the same as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day in terms of dying earlier.
Absolutely. It affects physical health. It affects mental health. Have a look at the stress that's related when you're feeling isolated and alone. And it's just that background stress of what if something goes wrong?
Shiro, I'm sure you're being facetious there. No, not a great one.
I'll absolutely say avoidance is not something that should be avoided at all costs. It's a tool. What I say to people, I can actually draw up. Should I do the window of tolerance?
Do the window of tolerance. I love a good drawing. I love a good window of tolerance. Avoidance, in my personal experience, does escalate issues. The only way out is through is something that I think about.
That's a really helpful one.
But do you do window of tolerance? Is this for diverse people?
This is for everyone.
This
is just such a handy tool. And
window of tolerance
was first developed by a guy called Dan Siegel, who's just had a massive contribution to connecting the brain into mental health and mental well-being. But what it basically looks at is we have a window of tolerance where we are uncomfortable, but we are not completely overwhelmed. And how we define that is our brain is still actually learning. So you're in an experience, but at the same time you're sitting there going, there's a big part of me feeling like I'm going to fail here, or everybody hates me, or whatever is the story that's happening. But at the same time, there's another part of you that's able to go, this is a story my brain's telling me to make sense of the uncomfortable feelings I have. Now, avoidance is where you're comfortable, but you're not being exposed, and it's a no growth situation. Overwhelm is where your system has just become flooded with the anxiety and with the distress. At that point, you're not thinking anymore.